what's really funny is I do lectures for my online class in my living room, and you would think I have a whole classroom of people. You know, I find myself gesturing and pointing to it's like it's a little bit like theater sometimes anyway. But then the doorbell rings or the dog barks or something weird. Okay, before I go through the editing piece, I just wanted to see if anybody had questions. Did you want to go over? You can take notes. The summary questions or the review questions in this? Okay.
Ask you quickly.
Yeah.
You were talking about, she says in the book that when you do edits, that they don't need to be in the same coordinate system.
Yes.
And you were saying, I just wanted a little more clarification
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Because she said that
Right.
Esri even says.
Right. So, yeah, so when I was going to have you do the Esri tutorial for editing rather than hers, and it was way too choppy. You know, there was no integration in how they did stuff, so I thought that was bad. But there were a couple really interesting pieces of information for me because I've always relied on the on-the-fly correction as well. And what their documentation says is that it is better to have everything in the same projection because there could be slight differences of alignment, and so that was their suggestion. And that creates a lot of extra work, right? Because right now, if we look at this data I have up here, let's go to properties, and I look at the layers, I've got 3 different projections. The data frame is in this web auxiliary. Hawaii is in North American conic, and highway, or the other 3 are in that projection. So if I wanted to stay true to this, I would have to reproject everything into Web Mercator, if that's what I'm going to use as my base map. And then I would have to project them into Web Mercator, edit them, and then project them back into the projection I want to actually use. Now, this is what Esri recommends. I don't know. You know, we're not doing usually engineering unless, well, there are shops that are doing engineering level building editing, but then you're probably editing on a building plan and everything would be in the same projection anyway. So just, yeah, that's all I know about that, Paula, and it's probably a good practice, but okay. Anything else about the review questions? Types of topological errors, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
On question 10, I can just wait till we get down there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That and I can show you that one. That's pretty easy. Okay.
No, I guess it was
Question
question 6.
6. When you create new features, how do you specify which layer?
No, yeah, it is 10. Sorry.
Okay. That's right. Yeah. And that question 6, I thought that was a silly question. I thought that was just a silly question. Anyway. Okay. So let's go over just some editing stuff. That I don't know if she has you do or not, but we're going to, what I'm going to do is in this gray area, I'm going to turn on some editing tools. One of them is the editor, so there's my editor toolbar. And I'm going to turn on advanced editing, which is another option. And then I want to turn on data frame tools. Okay, so I have 3 different tools that are on, and I'm going to stick the data frame tools up here as well. For now. So one thing you want to be aware of is sometimes there are things called multi-part polygons or multi-part line segments. So if I go into Hawaii, there's one record, right? One record for Hawaii, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 7 polygons for Hawaii. So if I turn on an editing session, watch, this won't work, you know. Right now I'm getting that warning, okay? My spatial reference doesn't match my data frame, and what she's saying is don't worry about it, right? It'll fix itself. So there you have. You see that, can you guys see that yellow X right there? What this is telling me is that all of these have been grouped, kind of like you would group vector layers when you're doing a drawing. And I can't really edit one of these without exploding them. And that's where I need the advanced toolbars. There's this option that says explode multi-point features. So let's say, is that my polygon tool? Let's say that there was a huge eruption on the main island, and this part of the island, well, that's not supposed to work at all. This part of the island, what?
They're selected.
I know. So what I need, I'm going to undo that. Sometimes you can't do any edits on a multi-part tool. So you're going to use the explosion tool. And now, if I go back into my attributes, I now have a polygon for each island. Okay? And I don't know, how do I make them a multi-part again? I don't know that part. I'd have to go back maybe, oh, I know. I bet you I merged them. Let's merge. Yeah. And now, yeah, so now it's a multi-part tool. So sometimes people will do that just so that I only have one record for Hawaii in my states data instead of, you can imagine every little polygon along the Outer Banks and along the coast. If we were trying to do the U.S. states, we could have 500 polygons, and we really want 50 states. And so that's one of the reasons you would group those as a multi-layer. So I love these little bookmarks. So I'm going to go back to this bookmark of highways and talk about some general edits. I'm going to turn off this tracks layer. So this is the highway layer that I got from the price data set. And when I click on this, I'm still in an editing session, and I think everything is editable. Let me go here. Yeah, I've got buildings, Hawaii's, and highway. If I click on one of these highway segments, you'll see that it pretty much, I'm going to turn this off so we can zoom to that selected layer. It's that entire 101 highway. This one and this one are separate features, are separate segments. So this Corvallis de Siuslaw has 4 selected features. So somebody digitized this. I doubt that they did it in one long line. My guess is once they did it, they either joined or merged all of these pieces into one line. However, when we zoom in, let's go back to bookmark. When we go back here, we can see that this is pretty coarse. And the distance between vertices, let's say I want to edit this, that's a pretty big distance, right? Especially when we go on some curved areas up here. Okay, just redraw any minute now. This would be fine. So there you go. So if I were working on this road segment, there's some things I would want to do. One of them is probably kind of move this back to center line. And that could be pretty helpful. And in order to kind of make a curve, let's go back down here to, let's say I want to actually make that curve here. I can move that here. I can move that there. And then this guy is now no longer connected. So I've got to move all these pieces back in here. And I could connect it there, but I might need to add another vertex right here so that I can just kind of make that a little bit more of a curve. And you can slide those vertices up and down, so that can help. So that's one thing I can do, but I really kind of need to add this V here, right? And so the other problem is this line would not work for an intersection because this shows this is a complete line and there's no connection here. there should be a vertice for all three of these. So that, and that would show that my traffic stops here and goes one way or the other if I were looking at a flow of traffic. So what I have to do is go in here and actually split that split that line. Where's my split tool? And it's nice because it'll go to the end point where those things snapped, and I can split that, and now I have a segment there, a segment there, and a segment there. So this way I could actually model traffic flow or river flow. But if that's a dead end, that's going to look like it's just as a dead end street running into another street. So let me go back a little bit, and let's say I want to add that connection. So again, I'm going to go to my construction tools and pick the line tool. I've got edge snapping and end snapping on, but I'm going to kind of start here, and then I'll have to move that later. And then it's kind of a trick of where's the middle and where am I going to snap. So I'm going to snap it in there, right click and finish that sketch. And now I'm going to have to split both of those lines so that I now have traffic flow in all of those places. Now, given the coarseness of this road data, so now each of these is a separate segment. And when I split them, they should keep the name, right? So it should keep all the attributes. If it's in a geodatabase, it will update the length of that attribute. If it's in a shapefile, I have to go back in and recalculate those lengths. So, yes, sir?
Are you going to run into problems when you try to label that road? Are you going to have like 6 different...
So you could turn off multiple labels. Yeah, so let's just, so I've added all those roads.
Is it still stored as a single feature, or is it now as a multi-part feature?
No, well, just let's take a look here. So right now I've just added several more sections, right? And so this took the Florence to Eugene name. This one doesn't have a name. Which one is that? Oh, interesting. Oh, because I created that, right? So that doesn't have a name at all. So because I'm in an editing session, I can copy that. Is that correct? That should be, yeah. I can copy and just paste that in there. I can copy that and paste that in there. Or when Paula was asking earlier about the templates, let's say I know that I'm going to add sections to the Oregon Coast Highway. So let's go to, where's the template here? Properties. No, that's Hawaii, not highway, Lynn. Properties. So right here, I could set the name as a default. So let's say I know that I'm going to just be creating new sections of Oregon Coast Highway. So I could set that there so that I don't have to type that every time. Whoops. I guess it's not going to let me do that. Okay, whatever. So now, when I make a new road and I look at that attribute, where'd it go? It'll have that name that I used as my default. And that's great if you really know you're only going to do, I think if you're doing like a lot of sections and some are Oregon Coast Highway and some are not, you could really, I could mess that up by forgetting to change it when it's not the default. So when we go into geodatabases, we're going to talk about some other options where you can create a drop-down menu with 10 different elements. So let's say you're going to do, there's 10 roads you're going to be working on, and you'll be able to drop down and just pick that and add that to your attribute each time. So, and you know what? That silly tool did not show up again, did it? Oh, there it is. So here is that that construction tool. And what I've found is sometimes I'm editing and it gets in my way. So you can hit the tab button supposedly and it will go away, but it seems not to be going anyway right now.
And don't you have to add vertices at every intersection?
You should have to split it every intersection, and then, so what I had to do was create my road and snap to the edge, and then when I split the other road, it split at that edge snap. So I know that those three places are now connected, okay? So I do not know why this is behaving well today, but supposedly you're able to turn that off through the options, and it says in Esri that there is a turn off mini toolbar in the general, but I swear I do not see it. So I have no idea where that is. The other thing I wanted to just show you was, let's see, buildings. Yeah, we'll just digitize some of these buildings. There was a tool I was trying to show you the other day. Actually, Florence is kind of oriented very nicely, or this section is, okay. So if I'm going to digitize the buildings with a rectangle, depending on, I take my long edge and scroll down, and that works pretty well, right? And I can do that on here, and now I'm off a little bit, right? So if I hit delete, that'll go away. So I might try that section. That's a little better, doing it from that side. So sometimes you have to play with this in order to get it to line up. But there is an option here that will let me rotate my data frame. So let's say I can tell from that road that I would like that to be my straight line. So I'm going to pull the editor toolbar down in here, just because that's a nice long line. And I'm going to rotate my data frame until the road lines up with this. Let's go -5. Wrong. Let's just go 5. Really wrong. 2. Ooh, that's a little better. That's pretty close. That's nice. So now I should be able to get straighter digitizing on some features. And so one of the students was doing some work for the city, digitizing, and this is one of their tools, that they just kept this up all the time and would rotate, if they had a new neighborhood where everything was on an angle, they would rotate so that was kind of straight up, and they could digitize that way. Yeah, so there's that. And so the other thing I have done a lot is kind of work through these piecing things together. And then I lost where's my editing toolbars? Right here. And then grabbing all of that and then going to the merge to turn it into just one building, or select by polygon. Here it is. Merge. Okay, so but you can see, look at that. There was a problem there. So I didn't pull that other polygon in all the way. So what you can do with that is create a patch on top of it and merge that again.
So the merging will eliminate any overlap?
Yeah. When I do it that way, and sometimes when I found an overlap when I've been digitizing, I'll just create a little patch. And
then merge it?
yeah, so now I only have 2 polygons, and so there I'm good. So I've got that building. The other thing, there was one other thing. Let me see. So in the lab today, for the exercise, I asked you to go to this mall and kind of create a block. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, and create this block polygon. So let's see, I need to get a new layer here real quick. Block. And it's going to be a polygon, and I need to choose a projection. And I think that's the projection the other data is in, so I'm just going to pick that. Okay. So if I were to, this is where that happens. Okay, so I'm in an editing session and I want to edit blocks, but it's not being added here. So I can go, this is where you kind of have to use that templates. New templates, block, finish, close, and now blocks is added. Okay? The other way to do that would be to stop editing, then start editing, and blocks would show up. So that was one of their new fixes. Anyway, I'm going to undo my selection. I'm going to click block and do a really rough kind of polygon here. So let's say you're going to start out with this block area. Hello? There we go. Okay, so there's the block, and there's my buildings. And what I want to do is to kind of enforce that topology so that the building actually is surrounded by the block, but they're not overlaying each other, right? Because then I can get the total area of buildings and I can get the total area of asphalt, right? So what would be some ways you could think of doing that? Because when okay, so, okay, yeah, no, that would be my first step too. So if I go to clip, okay, so maybe if I can find my editor toolbar, where did I put it? Did it go back behind here? Or is it back up here? Oh, let's just open it again. There we go. Okay, so clip. Okay, so I'm going to clip, okay. Uh-oh, they just went away. Okay, so that's not good. I hope so. Yes, okay. So clip is not going to work.
Well, but you've got would it matter what you had selected?
Okay, that's a great question. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Okay, let's just select these guys, okay? And let's try clip that. Oh, I can't clip. It's not an option. Okay. So there's a couple things you could do. The way clip would work is, let's make this hollow, okay? Clip would work if I had the features in the same layer, okay? So now I could clip. Let's see, let's fill that in again. Or not.
If you go back to the tool then, do you want that second button clicked? I don't know if that's your problem or not.
I don't know. Let me look here. Okay, buildings are there. Block is there. The first one has to be open. Let's see. If we go back to clip, we clip. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, say again.
Is the clipping features on the clip tool, is the bottom one supposed to be checked or?
Well, we can try that. Let's try that.
Because it is, I just don't know.
Won't let me option it. So I'm supposed to be able to clip if, hold on. All right, well then let's do unselect. So I've got these two polygons, and one of them is inside the other, right? So if I do that, let's try that clip. Nope. Ah, there we go. Let's try that. Nope. Ah, wait. Now I can discard that. There you go. So I could clip a hole, right? And then I could go back to buildings, and I could digitize my buildings, right? And make sure that my edges snap if I wanted to. But that's kind of like digitizing it twice, right? Another thing I could do is I could copy these buildings. All right, so, oh, that would be clever. I hadn't even thought about that till just now. Okay, let's undo that. All right, and then edit, undo, delete feature, and edit, undo, move feature, and edit, undo, clip. Okay, so let's say I digitized my buildings. I could also do this, copy, and paste them into the block. And then I could clip. Right? So I just copied that shape, pasted it into the block, and now I'm going to get rid of it. And how did we do that before? We did that. Oh, look at that. Now I don't know what I've done. Clip. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. So what I want to clip is that guy. I don't know what I've done in here. Oh, that's separate anyway. Okay, but that would work. So we could copy and paste those buildings in there and use those as clip features, right? The other thing is there's lots of geoprocessing tools. Let me go back here and undo this stuff. That would.
What would the attribute table look like if you copy and paste and then clip?
Well, you're going to delete the clip, right? So, so this would be. Let's go. Let's just undo this stuff again. Undo, move, undo, move.
Clip, not delete it, so.
Because you may actually want that polygon to be a different cover type, right? So I could do a field of planted and unplanted. So I'm going to make my big polygon, digitize just the planted, clip them out, but I want to leave them there, right? But just give them a different attribute. Let's go, edit, undo clip. Okay, so here is my, let's keep undoing paste. Oh, I think I only pasted that one. Let's see. Undo move, undo move. What's happening here? Undo clip, undo clip. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. No, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's what I want. All right, so let's try this again. Let's copy that. Okay, copy, paste, and I'm going to paste them into block. Okay, so if I turn that off, there they are, right? And I should be able, I have to do this one and not the other one, right? Or all of them. Clip, let's see. Nope, I have to select them all. Shoot. All right, hold on. Ooh, where did they go? What does my moving thing do? Undo clip. Undo paste. Oh, there's that thing I don't want. That's my problem. Here we go. All right. So there we are. So we should have only one polygon in here now, right? Okay. So now if I copy that, that and that, keep doing this until, is this the idea of insanity? Is that it? Edit, paste, into block. Okay, if I turn that off, I should now have 4 polygons. Cool. And if I take those, I should be able to clip them. Should. Nope. You think so, huh? What if I did all of them? Nope. All right, just the big one. How did,
Maybe you only get to select one polygon at a time.
oh.
So maybe that one and the first one.
Aha. Good problem solving. Let's try that. Yeah, that could be it. Editor clip. Okay.
I don't think the main one's highlighted.
Yep,
Right, there we go.
that's it. You have to do one at a time. Nice. Very good. Where did I go? Here we go. Then I'm going to go clip that one. Is it? I think you're right. Good job. Don't you love these demos that make you feel so smart? Okay.
So this is why we have 2 monitors.
That's right, clip. Okay, all right. And then you would delete that. And then when you turn on your buildings, you have coincident geometry. You're not going to have, unless you've accidentally moved your polygons, which you can do because the topology is not enforced. Okay, so another way to do that is to stop your editing session, but I want to keep the buildings. Okay. Save edits. Stop editing. Okay, in the geoprocessing tools, you have lots of options in overlay extract. So there is a clip that you could use, or there is an erase. And for this, you could actually have an erase feature. So the input is the input feature class or layer. Well, I'm going to assume it's the blocks. It's thinking. And then the erase feature, I could use that as my buildings. And then I'm going to get a new block that has the holes, right? And it's going to my end drive because I didn't pay any attention. All right. So there's a couple ways to do that. So if you have data that is in two different layers, you can't do that editing clip. The editing clip only works if your data is in the same feature class. So there's options. Oh, look at all that weird stuff I had up there. So if I turn off buildings and blocks, then I have block holes, and you can see all my extra options of weird stuff I was doing there. I think in the long run it is, and you're not having to, accidentally, yeah, yeah, I think so too. But I think,
Why would you use erase and not clip?
okay, let's do a clip. All right. I'm going to turn that off and turn on blocks, right? So let's just do clip. Geoprocessing clip. Nice thing about this, no harm, right? Because it creates a new feature class, so you haven't. So I want to clip my block, and I want to use my buildings to clip my block. And if I turn off my blocks and I turn off my buildings, all I get is the clip acts as a cookie cutter, right? So it gives me just the buildings back, right? I didn't want the buildings. I wanted the block without the building.
So you just want to flip those in the clip tool.
With a clip tool, I'm still only going to get. Okay, well, let's try that. So I've got buildings and blocks, right? So we'll clip, and let's put the block in. No, the buildings in, right? And then the block as my clipper. Oh, do I? Wonder if they'll clip itself. I should get a nice error warning here.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Never mind.
It just gives me the same thing again, right? Yeah. So when you want to remove an area from another area, you need to erase. And this is where it gets confusing because in in an editing session you actually clip, right? But if you're looking at two different feature classes, and you want to remove the area of one that's covering up another, you need to erase what's beneath it. But if you want to capture that area, then you would need to clip, right? Unless you're in an editing session. So that should help you, all of those different things, with the exercise. Kind of think about how to do that so that you don't have, and that would be a nice 34-minute, totally boring video to watch. Or you can fast forward to where it worked and we problem solved it. But that's great, kind of great demo. And how do you go through and figure out how it works? Well, try this and then try that. And luckily you can undo some of that stuff. So anyway, yeah. So tutorials are in. The questions I thought were pretty easy and kind of like, why would she even bother asking some of that? And there we go. All right.
Joe?
Yes.
Oh, it looked like you're about to click restart.
Thank you.
I'll do it.
Thank you.